What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology horoscope for the weekend of January 25th and the 26th of 2025. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, fixed air moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a great week. And welcome to the weekend. Happy weekend, everybody. All right, well, this weekend we're going to see the moon in Sag on Saturday. And this is kind of where the moon in Sag has to go through some things. It's going to square Saturn, square Venus, finish off the day starting to square Neptune. So really kind of hitting all these spots kind of early in the morning Sunday. It's kind of like square the nodes, finishing up with Neptune, but nonetheless, the moon is kind of having to work through some things here. It's wanting to do its best to feel hopeful, to feel into its beliefs, to maybe learn something, to expand and to grow in many ways, and look into this future of Aquarius season, find some innovation. I feel like there's a lot of hope. It's like, I want some hope. I want to find something to individuate myself and expand my world in right now, my personal life. Well, it's got to meet up with Saturn, so it, an interesting square. It can feel a little restrictive. Saturn in Pisces it's a weird square here that we've been going through. Um, it reminds me of just instead of being hopeful, like losing hope, like just feeling like this isn't going to work, or this, hasn't worked in the past, or every time I try to make a change, or every time I feel that, every time this happens, I feel this way. And it can almost be disheartening. So, if Saturday brings up some kind of a disheartening sort of energy or a loss of hope, well, try to maintain hope and strive for what you're trying to expand and grow for. I feel like whenever it's Saturn involved, we got to put work and effort in. So this is kind of like in our personal lives, in our emotional state, we got to like strive and put some work in. And it's for the things that we want to expand, grow our beliefs, different philosophies. Maybe, we're trying to learn something, but maybe it's something that's a little bit difficult for us to learn. And it's like, don't give up on that learning. Well, then the moon just goes right over to square over to Venus in Pisces as well. And, this is almost like where, beliefs might be getting, I don't want to say crushed, but getting suppressed in some way by Saturn, and then we square Venus, and it almost feels like it materializes. So by that I mean it's important to keep a really good, healthy mindset and belief and emotional state about the physical changes, about physical life, about monetary stuff, money, and to put continue to put work and effort in. Just because like one day something shows up and kind of tries to throw a wrench in it doesn't mean that it's got to ruin the whole month or the whole week. So it's just kind of like being okay with a day where there might be a couple setbacks, but maybe they're not setbacks too. Maybe these are things that activate us to put more emotional attention on how to actually physically expand certain things. And maybe this is dealing with relationships in our life with Venus, different relationships. Do we see a future? Is there hope? Is there freedom? Is there unconditional aspects to it? Or are we, nitpicking, especially with the South Node in Pisces? Are we getting too like nitpicky about things? Should we be nitpicky? I mean, they could bring up at least a lot of questions and maybe some belief about situations with money or relationships, or our own self-worth, kind of takes a hit. And then that moon squares Neptune, early Sunday morning, and it's like, then we can just feel confused, right? So it's interesting. Mercury is making really good aspects to Pisces, though. It's making that sextile this weekend over to Neptune and over to the North nodes, trining the South node, which it disposits. So I do think there's some like positivity in being able to expand our mind and kind of not get stuck in a rut or overly just overthinking certain things, and letting the wheels of confusion spin. Like, don't trip on stuff. Like, it's definitely a time to like do your best not to stress yourself out. Saturday could provide opportunities for stress to kind of creep up into our life. But again, the moon's also going to trine Chiron in Aries, and I think it's a really good opportunity at the same time to remember how strong we are and how far we've already come, and like there ain't no time to give up on nothing. So yeah, maybe a day where there's a couple challenges that present themselves. There's also a bit of a yod, right? from the moon. Oh wait, that's actually not a yacht at all. But Mars, Mars and Venus are in their trine. That's just a square. I was kind of thinking about Neptune and Mercury, but there ain't nothing in Leo. Taking that one, so my apologies. There is, however, a yod to the moon. There we go. I do see. I just felt like there's an important yod to talk about. I haven't even seen it yet, but it exists somewhere. There it is. And it's with Mars, and so I feel like this Chiron with the moon is very important because it's energizing us to find that sort of warrior spirit. But then Mars retrograde, making good aspects with Uranus, is I think trying to find that way to use emotion to act upon them in liberating types of ways and to help us get unstuck if we're feeling stuck. This deep in a Mars retrograde in Cancer, we can all feel like we're deep in a hole. And then this yod to the moon in Sag is, we're trying our best to figure out what actions are going to actually make us feel more expansive and give us that hope that we're looking for. But we have to like dig deep and like remember who the F we are. You know what I'm saying? And not give up and not let a day with some kind of hard aspects, throw a wrench in our plans. The last couple of days were pretty nice. So it's not like, don't let Saturn day with a moon square Saturn, get to you. But definitely could feel like we have to work through more things than we want to. As we come to Sunday, early Sunday morning, we're going to see that ingress from the moon into Sag, or into Capricorn from Sagittarius, and it's going to square these nodes and finish that square to Neptune. So I think it definitely puts it's a good perspective look. It can kind of feel like Sunday we're coming into like this expansive territory where the moon's in the galactic center. The nodes are squaring the galactic center. So I feel like it's a lot of a remembering. It's a lot of an intuitive sort of knowing and feeling and not losing hope. But the moon coming into Capricorn, I think, wants to dial it. It wants to dial some things in. So it's kind of like by Sunday, we're ready to dial some things in. The sun's at 7 degrees. That's a very spiritual number too. So I do think Sunday provides good opportunity to get back on track, but it might feel like we need to handle some business. Like, okay, Saturday was kind of sloppy. Squares from Sag to Pisces are kind of sloppy squares, if you will. But it's like, okay, it's okay right now. The North Node's in Pisces. It's like it's okay to be a little sloppy at the same time. But then we can also dial in to kind of formulate a plan that fits with the ideals and the visions. And especially as we start to see Venus make a really good aspect with a sextile over to Uranus. And there really is that sextile triangle to Uranus. There's a lot of like positive things right now where I think if you really see the value in your vision and you're willing to put work and effort in, a lot can come of it. Mercury's sextile Neptune still and making those good aspects to the nodes, and it disposits the south node. So it's funny, like the little bit of work and effort can go a long way. Again, if we're going to spin our wheels and try to make everything so trivial, I think it's harder than it needs to be, but I think if we just get the intuitive sort of hit and then do the thing and put in the effort necessary, tidy up the things that are obvious enough, right? Then I think we find some really nice, like, some ahas, some insights. Something could feel really good. So I do think Sunday's, not bad by any means. It just kind of is like a big emotional checkpoint on our emotional resilience. Kind of after Saturday brings some heat into like a lot of different areas of our life that we're going to probably feel a little bit personally. Then it's kind of like put that stuff aside, handle what's important, use that emotional maturity, get certain things done, but also don't trip out and be able to still keep vision. And I think that vision is crucial, and I think it can provide so many unique insights and values into the weekend that we can hopefully identify with and then actually put forth the right effort that can make certain things happen that we've maybe been hoping for or looking for. Probably find that. And the sun at 7 degrees too is just really starting to make that trine over to Jupiter. So it's nice to start to see a good Jupiter aspect here. Been retrograde for a while. Jupiter's getting ready to come direct here in about 8.5 days. So what is that, like February 4th? So kind of nice that we're, right on the cusp of a Jupiter stationing. Sun's getting ready to trine that, and I think it's going to help us expand truth and get our minds right so that we can innovate what's necessary in our environment and start to make some bigger moves in a consolidated sort of way, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. Anyways, hope you have a great weekend. Card for the day is the Nine of Pentacles. Great card. This is definitely a card of like self-sufficiency. Being able to really use your creative potential and your energy and all the work and the effort that you put into your life. You get the house, the car, the beautiful things, the birds are chirping, the flowers are growing. I love that card so much. So this is like a weekend to not lose hope on the goals and the vision and the things that you're trying to create for yourself, but to find inspiration through whatever might show up. And it could be things that try to derail or kind of knock you off your path or make you think like I'm not going to get what I want. Well, that would be detrimental for you to think that. So definitely keep positive mindsets about the life you're trying to create and realize you're fully capable to do such a thing and that you can do it by yourself. And it's always nice when people come in and light the way, but I don't know, this weekend, think about the stuff that you could do for yourself to make yourself feel abundant and powerful and happy and purposeful. Moon coming in Capricorn. Sun in Aquarius. Lots of Saturn energy. And of course, Saturn squares even. So, appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. Much love. Peace.